Welcome back to another Glory Reds FC with my boy Pastor D. What's good, my guy?
Yeah, man. Always well, always well. Although I have a little bit of an itchy throat, but apart from that, I'm feeling all right. What about yourself, man?
Nah, man, I'm feeling good. I'm actually even feeling good about this episode. I have a bit of what can I say, positivity. Like I'm feeling some sort of positivity. Like I said in my in the previous um episodes, I'm feeling a comeback, a turnaround imminent.
Yeah,
And I think this just might be the game that can turn
yeah,
things around, because we're going to go through a young run of good games that are actually winnable games. That I think the next three games we should win them comfortably if we get everybody in. So I'm
yeah.
I'm feeling something good, and I'll explain more as we keep on going. What about you?
Okay.
What are your thoughts? How are you feeling?
Yeah, man. I'm I'm on the fence because going into this match,
Yeah.
looking at a side that hasn't won a game since the beginning of the season. They've had two draws and three losses, so they're looking for their first win. And it's dangerous playing against those sort of teams, because at this stage of the game, they're just gonna throw in the whole towel, you know what I mean? And just really go for it without holding back. Plus, they're playing at home, and we also haven't won in a while, So we're also trying to chase a win that hasn't, we haven't done in the past three matches. So, well, if we're talking about the Premier League, that would be the past two matches. So we are also trying to chase a win. So it's going to be a very interesting matchup, us versus them. And I feel it sort of puts us also under pressure because we do not want an upset, against a team that's literally at the bottom of the league and haven't won a game since the beginning of the season.
See, I think I know where your fears are, where your insecurities are, because I get
Yeah.
it. Because United, we are famous for teams make records. They
Yes,
create
exactly.
history in their own right with us.
Exactly.
So I get
Yes.
where your concerns are.
That's exactly what I'm alluding to, man.
My
That's the fear. That's the fear right there. Spot on, fam. Spot on.
guy.
Oh,
It's
man.
sad, but I had that lingering feeling, but I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna let that. I'm not gonna let
Yeah.
that insecurity cloud what I feel currently, because when I look at United, I'm looking at them at present, how they are playing, how
Yeah.
they are. You know,
Yeah.
only Man United fans know how we are. Like it's literally,
Yeah.
I don't get when other teams or other fans from other clubs can come here and start judging us or talking about our team as if they understand. They don't. We know what's going
Nah.
on. So it's very
True.
easy for us to have an idea. And we, like you said, these past little traumas, like for
Mm.
a very long time, and you know what will happen? The commentator
Yeah.
will say something very prophetic, like these
Yes.
guys haven't scored in the what. It would be
Exactly.
no. And then these guys
Yeah,
are
yeah.
scoring
The
goals.
last
It's like,
time Burnley
could
scored
you
against
just shut
Manchester
up,
United,
bro? Ah,
come with all these weird stats was back in 1940, what, when Mang was playing, and they
bro.
only had one player who was handicapped. You know what I mean,
Ah,
fam? So yeah, man, it's and I hate it because every time I hear the commentators say that,
yeah.
I get that fear because that's happened way too many times when the commentators have started off with their nonsense of hey, the last time, then you
Yeah.
just know the football gods are not gonna be on our side today.
I feel
Oh
you. I feel
man,
you, bro. I feel you.
unreal.
Hey, dog. So
Yeah.
Burnley have played
Okay.
3 home games, and they've
All
lost
right.
all 3 home games, conceding
Okay.
11 goals. So this is
Okay.
where my optimism comes from. And like I said, just based on how we are playing currently, You look at
Yeah.
how we played against Bayern Munich. There's something that
Okay.
we should take from that. I mean, the players gave us something to bite on. Honestly,
Yeah.
when you look at how they played and how they came back and that fight, and then you realize like, okay, they were also not ticking in their own right because we were not playing very well, misplacing passes, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, Bayern Munich. I'm not diminishing what they did. They were very like they were on top of it, but there were certain things
Yeah.
that we are famous for doing wrong. Small things, misplacing passes, not controlling the ball, not being able to create some sort of fluidity with the passing. So I mean, that mount, that comeback, I really felt I saw something. I saw like players like the likes of Martial. Martial looked sharp for me when he came on for that 20 minutes. He looked I don't know, like I was like, "Oh my god, is this Martial?" And then at the same time, I was like, I understand why you didn't come on for all this time because we need to treat you like this. Unless you can show us COVID Martial where you're very consistent, you don't get injured. I think you have a big shout for that number 9 position, or if not that number 9 position, some sort of position in that squad, which is a headache for the manager. Then he'll have to shift things around. I don't know if he will do it, but I mean, he's really shouting for for a start. So I am taking all of
Yeah.
this, and then to add on to that, we've got these players that are coming back. We've got Mason Mount coming back. We've got Rafael Varane coming back. We've got Amrabat, I think, almost ready. We are just waiting. Like they had to train today. This Friday is what they're going to assess and then find out. And our manager, he's a laptop, coach. He wants to check the stats. If the stats are saying nah, you're edging on the red zone, you're gonna chill a bit, and I'm gonna start somebody else. But you
Yeah.
know how. So we've got some good boosts coming into this game, and I know, like for the likes of Mason Mount, he didn't start off very very well. So I'm not really expecting him to actually start. And even if he does start, I'm not expecting him to hit the ground running because it's been some time. And again, he didn't really have a very good start. So it's going to be tricky to see how he comes in. However, just him being fit and being ready to come on and put in a shift for us is a huge, huge boost. I think amongst all of them, I think Varane is the one that's most likely to actually start because there are some mentioned that because he is the one that had the shortest time to recover, he might be in contention to start. I don't know. I think it's risky. I think
Yeah.
Lindelof and Martinez can still contain. I mean, we're playing Burnley. We played Bayern
Yeah.
Munich this on Wednesday. That was a tougher challenge than what we're going to face. So
100%.
when it comes to respecting and trying to protect our players, these ones, especially these ones that are coming back, because we need them when they come back. They hit the ground, not they hit the ground running, but they're going to be there and be a constant in the team. There's no time to to swap and change and anything. Nah. You know what I mean? So yeah. So having said that, it kind of like leaves us with a situation where we kind of have to pick two starting 11s because we're actually not really sure exactly which one will actually start. I mean, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you are going to pick yours on the app, and I'm also going to pick mine. But ultimately, our teams are going to be derived from the two teams that I think we are going to select today as we keep on going. But yeah, man, emphasize. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit more about your fears and your doubts about United based on what I just said. Giving you this positive news. What do you have to say about that?
Yeah. So look, we definitely played better. The Bayern Munich match. as opposed to the previous matches before that we lost. There's some good positive takeaways from that match. Players looking much more fitter. As you mentioned, Anthony Martial,
Yeah.
he really looked like he was back on form and ticking. And, we're just yet to see how far he's actually come along post this injury and how far he's got along in his fitness. And if he'll be back to that COVID Martial that you refer to,
Yeah.
in tip-top shape to help us to get where we need to get to. Then, of course, taking a look at Rasmus Højlund, he's fitted in the squad like a glove. Got his goal against Bayern Munich. You know, it's
Yeah.
just looking positive from his end. And I think overall, we look to play much more positive than the other games that we played. Look, the issues are still there. We're still getting overrun in the midfield. Obviously, the issues will be reflected more when we're playing stronger teams,
Yeah.
you know. And since we're going to be playing against Burnley, we are hoping that it won't be the same case. You mentioned that Burnley lost all three of their home games. Those losses came to Spurs, when they figured out themselves,
Mm.
Man City, and
And
Aston
Villa.
Villa.
Yeah.
You know, and those are three teams that have been playing consistently well and have been very organized in terms of winning their games. Whereas we are not those type of teams. We spoke about it in the other episode, and we're talking about we need to understand what level United are currently on.
Yeah.
So even though Burnley have lost their home games, they lost their home games to formidable sides. You know, we are not the same. We can't really compare ourselves to the teams that beat them because we're not going to have that same type of organization. We have been struggling to score goals. Even those three goals that came against Bayern, I mean, if you look at the Casemiro one, it wasn't, not the
Desperation
header from
goals.
Bruno. It was a desperation goal, slipped on the ball. Everyone was confused. No one knew what was going on, and he just happened to just smack it at the back of the net. You
Yeah.
know, the Rasmus Højlund one as well. It wasn't hit as clean as you know as he would have liked, or we would have liked to see that goal. It just so happened that it managed to just trot bypass the goalkeeper. But usually those type of shots are saved, so you can count ourselves lucky to get two goals.
Yeah.
So I don't really want to take away the fact that we put three against Bayern, because at the end of the day, we still really struggle to get some sort of creative formation in terms of forward attacking and creating chances for us to score. Those same issues are still going to be carried on to the next game. You spoke about some of the players coming back from injury. Yes, they may start, but I don't think those are some of the players that we need right now for creating more chances for us to score. The players that started picking up form and starting to become better were players like Anthony, but he's not going to be available. Players like Sancho, he's the type of player that can, we can use to break down a defense and create chances for us. Rashford is not ticking the way he's ticking. And then, of course, Bruno Fernandes is assuming role of all the midfielders, because we're getting overrun. So he's not solely focused on final third activity. So we may go to Burnley and play better than them and probably take over the game. But I just don't think that we're going to get that scoreline that we're expecting to get. So I think we shouldn't look at it from the point of view that Burnley haven't won a game since the start of the season, but look at it from a point of view of what have we done from the start of the season? How many goals have we scored from the start of the season? Because the only goal I can recall is what? How many goals have we scored in the Premier League? Maybe what, two or three? I could be wrong. We haven't scored so many goals because we lost against Arsenal. We scored one goal in that match. We lost against Brighton. We scored one goal in that match. What's the other team that we beat? Was it Wolves? And we scored a goal. And then the other games we lost or drew, whatever. So we haven't even scored more than 5 goals, right? So with that being said, it just shows that we are lacking in terms of our attacking output and scoring goals. So it's gonna be very tough because I think Burnley has probably even scored the same amount of goals or even more than us, going into this tie. So it's just about, are we going to be able to go into this fixture and get the goals that we need to win? I think that's the big question that needs to be answered.
Now I hear you, D. You said something about you don't think the players that are coming they might help solve some of the situations in terms of attacking, and
Yes,
it sort of like rang something in my ear because I was thinking, right now, when you look at our big problem, our midfield is disorganized. Our midfield is one of the
yes,
places that's actually being overrun. Um, Ericsson seems to be the weak link, which you know to a certain extent I get, and to a certain extent I don't get, because he does find those passes, he does get into those pockets. Just recently, just seems to be unfortunate in his positioning and everything that has been going, and also tracking back. It almost seems like he's a Juan Mata. It almost seems like he's slow. So I don't know. But then he has mentioned that he's cool playing in that deep role because when he played in Inter, Conte didn't see him as a number 10. And he actually developed him into going becoming that, playing that deeper role. So he has become comfortable with it. Now, having said that, Ericsson being the weak link. I mean, if Amrabat starts, I mean, and you said like you're saying, alluding into in case. I'm like, if Amrabat starts, I think there's already a huge positive in terms of the attacking outputs, because now we've got a midfield that is balanced. We've got a player in Amrabat that can hold that midfield and he can also attack. And then we've got Casemiro, who obviously we know who he is. He's just going to continue being Casemiro. And then we've got Bruno up there being the number 10. Bruno will thrive because he has got no obligations to actually really, really go back. However, Bruno how he is. We're just gonna find him all over the pitch, putting in crosses from whenever. Bruno's just gonna be Bruno. However, the load on him defensively is going to be lessened, which means we're going to see more creativity for Bruno. Because you remember the time when even the times when we had Pogba in. Remember there was that time when we had Pogba, Matic, and Bruno. There was that midfield that was ticking. Bruno had no defensive obligations, even though we used to find him chasing people down all the way to the touchline. But when he was playing with those guys, he was always up front and doing his thing. And then it also changed to with Fred. When it came to Fred as well, when Fred was in there with Casemiro, it became easier for him. So Amrabat is going to offer that sort of boost for us. And then I think in terms of like Rashi, because we are moaning so much about Rashi not tracking back and doing his job, I guess maybe we're going to cut him some slack because we'll be like, okay, fine. We've got somebody there that can actually help do the job. Like he can help in that flank where you are, because Amrabat will be playing on the left-hand side, right? Yeah. So he'll be there assisting as sort of like a wing-back midfielder or whatever you want to call it, just holding that side, helping Rashford with the defensive duties, helping Regulon as well, and helping Martinez on that left-hand side. Rashi is. Then Rashi will be able to now focus all his energy into attacking. Now, all of that will only happen if Rashi plays with his teammates. I saw little glimpses of him against the Bayern Munich game where he was sort of being a team player, and I was enjoying that, but I was almost slapping myself and saying, nah, snap out of it because he's going to do something. And lo and behold, he tried to do something. And it's like, okay, fine, Rashi, what's going on? So, yeah, man, if Amrabat can come in and he's fit to start, I think it's going to be a huge boost for us. And then, I don't know. I wanted to ask you something. Do you think that, let's just say Mason Mount was fit, right? Or any of those senior players was fit. Do you think it would be right for them to start ahead of Facundo? Having seen like Facundo holding his own against Bayern Munich, for nice 70 something minutes. I mean, man, he put a shift in and he was thrown into the lion's den. that guy was facing Alphonso Davies. Do you know? And you saw how Alphonso Davies was ticking. So, do you think, like, if let's say there was any senior player that was there coming back in, do you think that they deserve to start, or do you think that Pelestri has earned his right to be given a start against this Burnley team? That I think I think he will thrive. I really do think Facundo will do good. Put in a shift. I'm not saying that he's gonna provide assist and goals, but he's gonna do something that everybody is going to be expecting of their wingers, and I think that is good enough. When you take into consideration that his playing time could be limited, but I think he's gonna do well. But what are your thoughts?
All right, now, man, I hear you, guy. So to answer your question, yeah, given the current situation at the club, obviously with the players injured, we're looking at this current squad. You've asked, has he earned his place? I don't really think it's a question of has he earned his place, because when you think about it, there's no other player fit to play in that position apart from him in this current squad, right?
Yeah.
So the only way Pelestri gets out of what you call this pecking order or not being selected is if another player is being replaced in someone else's position, and then that person who is being replaced in said position is now moved to the position in which Pelestri is supposed to play. So, for example, Bruno, exactly. When Scott McTominay was put in the team to replace Ericsson in that position, then Bruno was moved out wide, and then Ericsson started as number 10. That's how it was, yeah. Ericsson, Casemiro, Bruno started, but then they were shuffled around to accommodate Scott McTominay in that position. So right now, he's our only available winger to be starting in that position, our only available right winger to be starting in that position. So I don't really think it's about having a earned, but he's the only suitable one. There's no other option. So if he gets dropped, then I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I can't really sort of call it like he hasn't earned his place in the squad. Then it's got to do with something else that I just don't know what it's all about, to be honest.
I guess maybe when I use the word earned, it kind of like when you pose questions or statements, you have to really choose your words rightly. So I guess maybe by using the word earned, it almost like he has fought his way into that position and now he has cemented his place. Yeah, but no, I think when I posed that question, D, it was basically based on our history. And I'm not taking shots at Eric Ten Hag because I love him. But United has this history of sometimes we just don't understand why certain players don't play. We don't understand why, like, for example, as what you just mentioned, when you're talking about when they were trying to accommodate Eriksen, then Eric Ten Hag somehow, because of the players that he trusts, for example, in Bruno, he trusts that Bruno will put a shift in whatever position he's put in because he's a captain, and that's just Bruno's character. So he is comfortable with shifting Bruno, putting him anywhere else to accommodate other players. So, like, again, I wouldn't be surprised in a situation this game week if somebody's put in that right position. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't be surprised because such things have happened. But I don't know. I was thinking, like, I think it would really rub the United fans the wrong way if Pelestri being our only right winger doesn't actually get to start and have minutes under his legs or something like that. So I was just, when I posed that question, I just wanted to, I guess, maybe make myself feel better in knowing that, maybe Pelestri now, like at this current moment, it's Pelestri's time. You know what I mean? And I'm really rooting for I really want him to shine. Remember when we bought him? We bought him for like 10 mil. Like we bought him cheap. So I really want this signing to be one of those like, this was our bargain signing. United did good. Saw something, they stuck with it. We got our superstar. We bought him on, and now he's a big deal. So,
I get you, and like you said, choice of words and everything like that. But I sort of get to what you're alluding to
Yeah,
in the terms of he started against Bayern and he sort of proved that he can fit into the team and he can play in the starting 11. So he
yeah,
should be included in the starting 11 moving forward. And honestly, I would, man, I would actually be shocked if he's not going to start against
me
Burnley
too.
today. I'll really be
Me
shocked
too,
because
bro.
the Scott McTominay thing is not working, and I just don't know any other player that he currently wants to put in the team just to not have Pelestri start. You understand what I mean?
Bro,
The only way I can see it is it obviously he goes for the usual midfield three, but then the only way I see him dropping Pelestri is if he's going to chance all three forwards of Martial, Rashford, Rasmus.
and
That's the
Hurling.
only way
Yes,
I see
yes.
Pelestri getting dropped. But if Pelestri's getting dropped for like a Scott McTominay, fam, nah, man,
Ah,
I won't be able to stomach it again. I'll just be like, nah, nah,
me
nah, nah, nah,
too.
nah, 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 nah,
Ah,
nah, nah. Is there? I don't know what Pelestri's doing behind the scenes, you know.
but
But
no, man.
yeah, man,
And
it would really be unfair.
here's my thing with Pelestri, and I know I've talked a lot about him. For me, it's not like he doesn't have experience. I mean, I know he's young.
Yeah,
He's what, like 20 or 18, 19? I'm not sure. He's almost the same age as Russ.
he's over 21. He's
He's over
21.
21.
Yeah,
So
he
he's
should be
older
20.
than Rasmus?
He's older than Rasmus. He should be 21, if I'm not mistaken. He should be 21. Because remember when we had that confirmed 25-man team for Premier League, I think he
Yeah,
was
yeah.
mentioned in the 25 because he's older than 21, and then the others weren't mentioned, the likes of
Ah, yes,
Rasmus,
yes.
etc., because they were younger. Yes. So Pelestri is 21. So yeah,
That
man.
is very, very interesting, bro.
Yeah.
But anyway, bro, moving forward, so I don't know if you noticed, I don't know if you read about this, but we got another new doctor
Okay.
who has come in. Apparently, we snatched him up from Arsenal. The guy has got a very good CV, impeccable. The guy has been part of rugby teams. He has been part of. No, I'm just talking in general. I'm not saying it
No,
like
it's
I
fine. I
know
get
him.
you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm not saying that I know him. I was just reading his CV and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. And then I just mixed the two because we've been having these injury issues for a
Yeah.
while, like a long time. And then
Yeah.
they told us that they signed some doctor, and we thought maybe things were going to get better. I don't know. This is like the second doctor, right? If I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they brought that first doctor, and then players are getting injured. We're not seeing a lot of like them being fast tracked back into the pitch. So they
Yeah.
brought this guy from Arsenal, and I think he was at I forgot he was part of some huge teams, but he was like the main doctor, and
All
people
right.
were going to him. He wrote papers and whatnot. So they
Yeah.
brought this doctor in. Now I'm assuming him coming into the squad right now it's because of the injury crisis that we are facing.
Yeah.
Now I, I always I've always been indifferent with these doctors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they tell us that we're getting this doctor, we're doing this, and
Yeah.
for some reason, I don't see the benefits. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you felt the same? Like what is your stance in this situation? Because I mean, it does run within the club. It's part of our the players.
Yeah.
Mason Mount, Amrabat, like
Yeah.
everybody that
Yeah.
out there. We are really hoping that they get back as soon as possible. Now,
Yeah.
guy comes in. I don't know if he's going to speed up or he's going to help change
Yeah.
things. What are your thoughts on that?
Look, man, the fact that it's coming from Arsenal, and this has got nothing to do with our rivalry with Arsenal, because obviously doctors hold no loyalty in clubs. They just do their job wherever they're supposed to go. But
Yeah,
Arsenal have also had their fair share of injuries and you know what I mean, stuff like that. And for me, just begs the question of why did you leave Arsenal? You know what I mean? Or did you used to work for Arsenal and then you're a free agent and then we got you, like free agent, obviously not, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah,
And then
yeah.
we got you. like what's the story there? You know what I mean? What was your reason for leaving Arsenal? And like I said, Arsenal also don't have a good track record of players getting recovered from injuries. They've also had that fair share of injuries. So
Yeah.
I man, I don't know. I don't know if I can say I can trust them or whatever, but like you also pointed out, I also haven't seen any much of a difference with the doctors that we have changed and in terms of the players getting injured, you know. So
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know. I always tell myself that the game has changed so much. The pace at
Yeah.
which it's being played, the intensity, also with the COVID thing that happened, and we've had a lot of tournaments back to back to back to back. And obviously that's why they introduced the whole 5-man substitution thing. So definitely the game is being played at a more intense and higher level than it
Yeah.
has ever been since, you know what I mean, its adoption. So I can
Yeah.
understand that nowadays there would be a higher occurrence of injuries, and ones that would sustain for longer periods of time. How they get around that, I don't know, but they need to figure it out. I think they need to look at what the current state of football is, and
Mm.
managers need to adapt that in terms of how they're going to be playing their players on the field. And obviously, that's why they brought the whole 5-man situation. I mean, we've seen
Mm.
with Eric Ten Hag, he's one manager that does not like to utilize substitutes, right? I think it's only of late, like it's actually quite shocking that of late he's been making a lot of substitutes. But if we remember last season, he was hardly making any substitutes, and if he did, it was just one or two during games. He wasn't
Mm.
making a lot. In fact, he wouldn't even go as far as using all of them. But we
I
can
mean,
see in
okay.
these first games of this season, he has actually started to rotate a lot of the players around. Now, albeit I know it's because we do have a lot of injuries, right? And we haven't been faring so well in the game. So he has been making those substitutes to try and turn around the game. But I still think that's something that us as a club need to incorporate more, because yes, it's all well and good to bring in all these doctors and experts and everything like that, but if the manager's also not going to do that due diligence to say, okay, we can't have, like for example last season, Bruno Fernandes playing every single day, second minute of every game of every tournament, carrying over now into this season the same situation. At some point his body's gonna give in, you know what I mean? And he may suffer a much crucial injury if maybe he was rested for a game, or you're substituted much earlier off during a game or something like that. So I think
Yeah.
it's more to do about how the managers work with the doctors and how we're going to see a difference in terms of injuries and recoveries. But if we want to keep going at this same rate, I don't think any doctor we bring in is going to make any difference if the managers are not
Yeah.
going to, you know what I mean, taking care of the players on the pitch.
Yeah. On that point of the substitute, I just wanted to add something. You remember, like, I think, I guess maybe with the way you phrased it, maybe might have put set like, but it was Ole that we actually had a problem with substitutes.
Yes, yes,
He was
Ole
the
as
one
well.
that never used to
Yeah,
substitute. We
yeah,
used to go mad. And then when Eric Ten Hag came in, I think he was the breath of fresh air that started to make changes at 60, because
yeah,
I mean, he wasn't making too many, but
yes,
we were comparing all the other managers, Pep, Klopp, all these other managers, and they were like,
yeah,
60 minutes, if you have not done anything, you're out. I'm
yeah,
bringing somebody else in to come and change.
yeah,
And we were always keeping players, keeping them until 90 minutes,
yes,
85. That's when we start. Then you see we make 3 or 4 changes, and it's like,
yeah,
yo, really? Like, what do you
yeah,
expect these guys to do when they go in there after
exactly.
these? So yeah, man. No, I hear you on that.
Mm.
I didn't want to talk about this dude, but we have to talk about him because I am at this point where, like, I have my verdict. I have my verdict with him, and I know it's gonna be harsh, and I know it's gonna rub some people the wrong way. But
Okay. Yeah.
Jadon Sancho, Jadon Sancho has refused to apologize. Like,
Okay.
think back. Tell
So
me,
is
wait, no, wait. Like,
okay.
think back as a United fan that you are,
Yeah.
that we are, and think back to times when we actually had these kind of situations where a player is so adamant, and I'm talking about this extreme. I'm not. Pogba was not this extreme. Pogba was one of those guys who was just like, I didn't do this. I didn't do this. It was like some sort of misunderstanding with. But then with Sancho, his story is clear. This guy is banished because he's refusing to apologize. He's like, nah.
Yeah.
So there's talks of a January move. United are waiting for the highest bidder. Anybody that can spend whatever it is that they're looking for can take Sancho. So I wanted, because we are a fan channel, we might as well get over and done with this story, because I feel like it has an ending, and I don't really want to keep on going back and forth with this Sancho situation. I'm fed up. I am fed up. I'm fed up because our team at the moment is weaker because of these kind of situations. So I just want to eradicate all of this stuff and then focus on the people that are there. So my guy, let's talk about Sancho.
Yeah, funny enough, we got this newspaper in yesterday, Daily Mirror.
Sancho.
Sancho. Speaking about it. So I actually never got a chance to dive into like what the papers are saying about it. But look, man, to be honest, right? I don't know about everybody else, but me personally, I've checked out of Sancho. You know what I mean? I've officially checked out. And for me, it's not even a matter of has he apologized? Hasn't he not apologized? What's going on? Da, da, da. For me, I'm like, this issue has dragged out for way too long. Like I said, this thing. Remember when the news first broke out, and I kept saying that the club need to nip this thing in the bud ASAP. You know what I mean? They need to get Ten Hag and Sancho in front of a camera, and they should just air out their, you know what I mean? Whatever their disputes are, differences. We get this thing over and done with, and you move on. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm just that type of person that I can't drag shit out for just too long. You know what I mean? Yeah. And not to obviously bring this into conversation, but that's also how I am in my relationship. Like when certain things happen, I don't like things dragging out.
Yeah.
Like, let's nip this thing in the bud. Let's sort out this issue. Let's move on. You understand what I mean? I love Jadon Sancho, right? I wanted him at our club. I wanted him to come in there and do the things that you're supposed to do, But these things happen at clubs. And it's funny enough because I sort of came to this resolution yesterday when I was watching a Statman Day video, and you're talking about just in the Premier League and what they went through with players and how long it took them to finally get it right. I'm like, you know what? If Sancho needs to leave for this team to come correct, albeit, you know what I mean? I'm tired. I'm tired of the story. I don't want to hear it. Like I said, I don't like jumping into topics and issues where we do not know what the reality is. I don't like assuming and, you know what I mean, creating narratives in my head. You know what I mean? I don't like doing it. So obviously the stories out there, he's being benched because he hasn't apologized. I'm like, where are you guys getting this stuff from? You know what I mean? Is this facts or is this stuff we're just assuming? You know what I mean? Like, what's the real story here? And this got nothing to do with me trying to take sides or whatever. But it's always like, because and I remember we spoke about this the other day. It was about Anthony, right? Yeah. On the United website, it says Anthony has chosen to stay in Brazil until the allegation has been cleared, right?
Yeah.
And then I've got a copy of the Mirror, the Daily Mirror, and the Daily Mirror is reporting that Manchester United told Anthony, you understand what I mean, to stay in Brazil. But on the website, it's saying that Anthony told Manchester. So I'm like, whose story is right now? You get what I mean? Did the club tell Anthony to stay in Brazil? Or did Anthony tell Manchester that he's going to stay in Brazil until this thing is sorted out? Do you get what I mean? And this stuff is being on paper. You get what I'm saying, fam? So that's what I'm saying with the whole Sancho thing, right? Everyone is convinced that no, what they heard is legit, right? Oh, we heard Sancho doesn't want to apologize. Do you get what I mean? Others are saying, no, that thing was squashed. Right now, he's just being punished until he comes correct. And we don't even know what this come correct means. Does it mean he has to show up for training every day? Does this mean he has to stick to a certain timetable? We don't know. You understand what I mean, fam? And for me, once I get like two different like pieces of information, like the Anthony one, like I said, like you get one story from the newspaper, you get one story from the official Manchester United website, I'm done with it, fam. I'm like, look, until you guys come up with a press conference and clear this case or clear this story, I don't want to hear or get involved in any of it. You know what I mean? Because it's just going to be
Yeah,
rumors, 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 rumors until we officially get the correct news. So with the Sancho thing, this has got nothing to do with whether he's apologized or not. I'm just tired of the story. I'm tired of the drama. Let's move on. You understand what I mean? If I'm not going to be part of Manchester United moving forward, so be it. If I want to sell him in January, so be it. But the club needs to do their due diligence, and they should not just let him go for like a cheap price. You know what I mean? Or allow him to run down his contract or whatever. Because at the end of the day, yes, Sancho did wrong. We do need to get rid of him, but it's pointless him sitting on the bench and not gaining any value on the market. You understand what I mean? So punish him. Say you're not going to play Premier League. Say you're not going to play Champions League. Let him play FA Cup. Let him play Carabao. You know what I mean? Let him show that he's still worth of value. So when we put him into the market in January, other clubs can be like, yes, we want to scoop him. You get what I mean? So let him go and play in the competitions. Let him shine. Let him go and do his thing. You know what I mean? If he does well and, Ten Hag still doesn't want him in the team because of his attitude, I'm okay with that. But I just want Sancho to go back into that market and at least we can recover a good amount for him. Because we got him for like, what, 80, 70 odd million. You know what I mean? It's going to be pointless selling him for like 10, 15, 20 mil. Let's push up his value. At least get a 40 for him. At least get a 40 for him. With that 40, we can now go and get another player adequate to come and replace him. Because we're not going to replace him with a 15, 20 mil. Then at the end of the day, it's like, we've just wasted money here.
You see, I hear you, D. The thing is with Sancho's story, in the beginning, it started off as if like because we didn't have full information, or it was very difficult to decipher what was going on. But we started getting clarity. And now this story, especially the story of that the guy hasn't apologized, it's coming from those journalists from Manchester, the Manchester Evening News. They're the ones that are reporting the thing. In fact, there are some more reports that I want to we'll get into, but I wanted to talk more. But I wanted to just dissect this Jadon Sancho thing. So with Jadon Sancho, bro, first of all, forget about getting him for a good price. He tanked his value with his behavior, and his subpar performances. So we're not going to get the amount of money that we think we deserve for Sancho. We will not. So, like you said, 40, 30, that's the price range that we should be expecting to sell Sancho. If we sell him for 50, I'll be like,
exactly.
I'll be like happy if we're able to sell him for 50. But other than that, I don't see that happening. And then with the situation, like, okay, for me on my side, I'm done also. Like I'm done in the terms I'm also taking into consideration the fact that he hasn't apologized. Like, okay, say that wasn't true, right? Say he wasn't true. Like, say it wasn't true that he hasn't apologized. Why is he banished? Are you telling me that he is still not training to that level? Cool. When we were playing during I'm not saying that he should have been training. Is he training to that level where he's getting himself? He's doing things out of football that are making it look like he's not taking his football thing seriously. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, we can bring him in. We want him to increase his value or whatever. But the boy still has not apologized. And it looks like the manager is not going to budge whatsoever. Like, you're not going to let this guy walk or put on that jersey if he's not going to say, I apologize for my outburst. And that's all they need. You know, when I think about it, it's such a simple thing if you want to get past the small obstacle. But at the same time, I feel like Sancho feels very strong about his position, and he's not going to budge. And I think I've mentioned this, like I give him credit for sticking to his guns. But then that clearly should show that, it's time to go. It's time to part ways. So, January,
Ben,
they said,
sorry to cut you off there, but,
yeah.
Given United's track record with stories and issues with players and all of this and all of that, me, honestly, I don't buy the story. I don't buy the story because none of it adds up. And it's the same thing with during the Ole time, where a lot of stuff wasn't adding up. And now Ole has come and now he started revealing all those things that didn't add up, albeit it didn't go and, go the whole mile. This story, and like you said, all Sancho needs to do is apologize. When you put these pieces right in front of you, you're like, nah, nah, nah. There must be something bigger going on over here. Because I refuse to believe that Sancho has completely refused to budge, completely refused to budge to apologize to the player. And if the club are seriously this pissed off at him, why even go as far as get him a personal trainer and say you can still train but not with the first team, whatever? Like all these mixed
He's training
messages
with
and
the
stuff like that. Because and like you
academy.
said, and like you said, Ben, if what you're saying and from whatever you're hearing from whatever journalists are saying, whatever, if they're saying, oh, Jadon Sancho needs to do is apologize and then he's back in the team, I'm like,
It's
surely,
it's a start.
surely, surely, and surely Sancho, given the circumstances, especially what happened with Anthony, surely by now an apology would have come out already. Because with the Anthony thing that happened, and with Pelestri not in favor of Ten Hag, surely Sancho would have seized that opportunity right away and said, you know what? Actually, this has come at a good timing. You know what I mean? If I apologize, for sure, 2 games in, I'm back in the team. You know what I mean? Of course, I'm going to get my punishment, but I'm definitely going to be back in the team without a doubt. There's no way Pelestri is going to bench me. Do you understand what I mean? So if it's that clear and obvious for him to get his position back into the team, and also given the history with him and Ten Hag, with Ten Hag allowing him to heal through his mental thing and taking him to whatever, I just can't fathom it to be like this guy is just so ungrateful for what Ten Hag did for him in the past, and he's taking a misunderstanding or whatever that happened, and he's coming and he's refusing to say sorry. You know what, nah? I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna entertain the story. I'm gonna leave it where it is, because for me, I don't buy it. And for me, I'm properly just going to wait until someone is allowed to speak. So if this happens when Sancho leaves the club in January, and then a year later is on the diary of a CEO, and he's now coming out, you know what I mean? Explain like what really happened. That's what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the what really happened documentary. Right now, I don't care about anything, fam. I don't care because even when you watch the documentary, same thing. A lot of stuff was happening during the Pogba era, and we're wondering what is going on. Why is this not happening? This isn't this the video with Mourinho and Pogba when they had that clash on the training field, and then everyone is just jumping with assumptions. You know what I mean? And then years later we get documentary, and then we start seeing what exactly happened. All these things. You know what I mean? So for me, fam, with the track record of this club, I refuse. An issue so small that it can't get resolved, I refuse, given all the opportunities and the clear-cut, like, the clear-cut situation for Sancho, for him just to say, sorry, it's a start. You're now back in training with the first team. 2 games in, maybe you're now given some time, and you're now back. Fam, nah. For me, it's I can't. I refuse. I refuse this one.
I hear you, man, but for some reason, I will also have to. I disagree with you. I actually believe that Sancho is vigilant. I believe he's combative. I don't know why. It's one of those things where, if you ignore it, it's going to grow, and then it will explode even more. And I feel like Sancho is just somebody. And I'm going to use a word that is going to seem harsh, but this is the best way I can explain Sancho. He's a cancer. He's a cancer that needs to be removed and gone. In the sense that he's bringing with this story, he's bringing a negative energy, like an energy that shouldn't be there. And like I get it. Like I honestly understand what you're saying when you say like seriously, Sancho. Like you're still holding on, like you're telling me that you haven't apologized. Like here we are, we're backing you up because we think that you might just find your feet. One Bissaka, Rashford, like there are players that have changed their things around at United. And Sancho is somebody that can actually do it. You understand? So we're sitting here thinking, we're here backing you because we think that you can turn things around. But are you trying to tell us that you have not apologized? Like you're still adamant? Like, man, for some reason,
I don't know what the beef is there.
For some reason, I am believing it. I'm believing in such a way that also it has reached a point of no return. You know, once you're in a situation where you're like, once I cross this path, I just have to deal with the consequences. I have to deal with the aftermath of whatever is going to come because there's no going back after this.
Yeah.
And I think Sancho, with that post, that was him crossing the line. He was given an opportunity now to say, okay. In fact, he was given an opportunity to probably take it down at that moment. He didn't. He's taking it down. Now they're expecting apology. Hasn't.
But that's the thing. Why would you have asset, Ben? If Sancho is determined that now what I did is right, why have asset? Why say, okay, I'm gonna compromise with this, you know what I mean, rebellious
this is
move
what
of
I'm
mine.
saying.
I
I commend
down the post, but I still want to apologize. Do you understand what I mean, fam?
This is why I say I commend him. Like, you're sticking to your guns, so be prepared to deal with the consequences. And the consequences are you leaving this club. Now, for me, I'm done. And I feel like, you remember that analogy I gave you that I said a lot of these CEOs and business people, they use with the A-team stuff, having an A-team player. Now, Sancho might as well be an A-team player with his footballing capabilities. But then his mentality and everything that's surrounding him right now, he's a B player. And that energy is going, like, I'm sorry, it's going to drag the team down. And because of that, for me, just solely because of that, apart from whatever is going on, like you said, we're going to find out what's going on with Sancho. Somebody's going to come out here and tell us the true Hollywood story of what has been happening. You know, then we'll find out. You know what I mean? But for now, just because of the energy that he's bringing into the club, bro, that video you sent to me about Statman Dave, you know, I had forgotten about the things that Arteta had gone through. I forgot, like, it slipped my mind. But then when I saw it, he had to deal with Ozil, Obama,
dude.
Who else? Man, and those are heavy hitters. Those were heavy hitters, captains.
Dude,
like,
exactly.
People that were earning big cash.
Dude.
You know, and he had to get
rid of
at
them.
That time,
exactly.
People didn't understand.
Yeah.
And I am seeing my manager in the midst of this chaos. And I'm like, you know what, guys? Let's deal with the mess right now.
Exactly.
While the manager is still fresh.
Let's weed out the bad seeds.
Yes.
And let's start afresh. There will be other Sanchos. As heartbreaking as it is, look at us about Pogba, but we did find without him. You know what I mean? I cried, fam. I'm like, no, Pogba.
I was sad, bro. I was sick for like 2 weeks.
Dude. But we fine. We got on fine. We finished third. We won a trophy. You know what I mean? We're back in Champions League. We were okay. You know what I mean? It wasn't a train smash, you know. When Ronaldo left, it wasn't a train smash. You know, Waza stepped up. You understand what I mean? These things happen. You know, they happen. And I think we're just at a point where we are so desperate to keep on every single good player that we have because we're just scared to go back to Fred.
Before you say that, we bought Maguire under those circumstances.
Exactly.
Remember?
Exactly.
We bought and Maguire was our guy, man. When we
hey, man. Hey, man.
Big, strong.
My guy.
You know, man. D, man. I mean, I think we've dissected a lot of these players. I mean, Jadon Sancho, I think until any other news comes in, I think we can close that chapter for now.
True. This is supposed to be a match preview episode.
I'm telling you. I wanted us to talk about our possible starting lineups. And
all right.
The way I was looking at things, it's going to be very difficult for us to pick a definitive starting lineup. And I'll give my reasons for that because Mason Mount, Rafael Varane, and I'm assuming even Amrabat, they had that training session yesterday, on Friday. Like that was like their first training session coming back. Now,
Yeah.
with such information, obviously they're going to check the stats. And I think based on what they said, Varane is the most likely to start amongst all those that have been injured and are coming back. Right?
Yeah.
Now, Mason Mount is in contention to come back. Amrabat could come back. Meno is not yet. He just started training individually this week, so he's not going to feature. So
Yeah.
when we are now picking our starting lineup, obviously at the back there will be changes or it might stick the same way. So we'll have Onana, Regulon, Martinez, Varane, and Dalot. Now, if
Okay.
Varane is not completely fully fit, the
Yeah.
Iceman is gonna slot in there, which means
Yeah.
our back five doesn't change, right?
Yeah.
Then we move into the midfield. Casemiro retains his position. If Amrabat is ready, he comes in, right?
Yeah.
Say he's not, and also Mason Mount, say they are not yet ready to come in. Do you see a situation where McTominay could start with Casemiro because of how the game panned out because there were reports saying that Eriksen was sort of the weak link.
Yeah.
I saw it, but at the same time I didn't see it. So
Yeah.
I'm like, could they be a switch in that regard, in that midfield?
Mm.
Do you think that they might be a switch?
Nah,
Just
I
maybe.
don't.
You don't
I
think
don't
so?
think. I don't think Ericsson is being dropped for Scott McTominay. If Ericsson's being dropped, then it will definitely be for Mount or for Amrabat. If either of
Okay.
them are going to be fit to start the match.
All right. Okay, so in the midfield we'll have Casemiro, Amrabat. Oh, this is okay. This is the
But
team. Okay, I want to pick the team without the
okay.
injuries. And
Okay.
then
Okay.
we'll jump into the team with the injuries.
Okay.
So I'll start again. Sorry. At the back, Onana, Regulon, Martinez, Iceman, and Diego Dalot. And then in the midfield, we'll have Casemiro, Eriksen, Bruno. And then our front three will be Rashford, Hoyland, and Facundo. That's our starting 11. Like, that's the starting 11 that played against Bayern Munich, basically.
Yeah.
And then now we are adding in the players that could start, that could feature. So at the back, we have Onana, Regulon, Martinez, Varane, and Dalot.
Yeah.
In the midfield, we have Casemiro, Amrabat, Bruno. And then up top, we have Rashford, Hoyland / Martial, and then Facundo / Mount.
Yeah.
So, what do you
think? Sorry, just repeat the midfield again.
The midfield will be Amrabat.
Yes, Casemiro
and Bruno.
Yes.
And then in the and then this side, and then the front three will be Rashford, Hoyland / Martial.
Okay.
Yes, or Mount / Facundo.
Yeah. I agree with you up until the front. So I think Rasmus is definitely gonna still be a starter ahead of Martial. I kind of feel Martial has lost his place in the starting 11.
Yeah, me too.
So Martial will probably get starting 11 against in FA Cups and stuff like that. But in terms of Premier League, Champions League, yeah, I think it's a wrap for him. So I'll go with that. If Mount is fit, Pelestri's seeing bench, unfortunately.
He's seeing bench.
It's unfortunate, but it is what you know. And you know what the funny thing is, Ben? I don't hate Mount, and I think some of the narrative out there is that United fans do not like Mount. I think the issue is Mount was a surplus requirement. He was not needed.
Yeah.
He was not needed. And to make it worse, was sort of struggled to find his place in the team. Yeah. And what's so irritating about it is that we know Mount is a very good player. and he can add value to this team. But we just don't know where, how to incorporate the boy. Understand what I'm saying? So until that's figured out, unfortunately, it's just always gonna be that thing when you see Mount in the starting 11, gonna be like, what's going on here? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's the unfortunate thing about Mason. Because Mount is a baller, fam. He's a baller. You know what I mean? I don't want to Mount. Mount is a baller, but we just don't know where to put him in this team, fam. Especially according to the way Ten Hag wants to play. So maybe in that Facundo position, maybe he can offer something different to us there. You know?
I'm sitting here thinking, this of Mount playing on the right, this is what the fans think or assuming if we're trying to get everybody that is fit into that team, how our team would look. And this is also like trying to, when we put Mount in that right wing position, we as fans are saying that there is no other number 10 except our Magnifico.
Exactly.
We don't want our Magnifico to play anywhere else except of that tip of that spear. You know what I mean? So Mason Mount has to play somewhere else.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So we are putting him there in that way.
Yeah.
But then we've got a gaffer, who has started him in the midfield. So, he might just hit us with the curveball and take Bruno to that right position and then put Mount in that number 10 position and put Eriksen that base there with Casemiro. He could do that, and then that will really throw everybody off. And you know what will be funny? That team goes and performs.
Yeah.
Even though we know it's not the right one, us as fans, the manager will think of it like, okay, we won.
He might use it again. He will use it until it flops. And then he exposed, and he'll be like, this is the problem. You are removing this player and putting him out of position, and this is why you've been scraping these wins or these now you've met a tough team. They've exposed you because you've put a player out of position and he hasn't been able to get involved with the team, and he's not putting in a shift. So that's my worry. That's where my head is at. But man, if Mount is fit, Facundo Hades. But Facundo needs to come on. He needs to be given minutes. And when I say minutes, I'm not talking 10 minutes. At least 15, 20. At least put him in 70 minutes so he can get some running, because that boy is going to add a lot of value to our team. I'm really stoked about it. 100%. But man, D, that is the match, people. What do you expect from this game?
So look, man, I've heard stories about Burnley. I just haven't had an opportunity to watch them, but I heard they're very City-esque. You know what I mean?
They do.
Obviously from their manager. And we have been struggling for possession since the start of the season. So, and we're playing away. So I can sort of still see that happening, us still struggling for possession and Burnley retaining a lot of possession. So for me, I'm going to say this game is going to boil down to chances taken. If we're not going to take our chances, then it's a wrap. It's a wrap for us. I'm not confident going into this match. Like I said, I know Burnley haven't won a match since the beginning of the season, but just given the way how all these other teams are playing, you know what I mean? Man, I'm
these
not
teams coming to make history with our
you
club.
know what I mean? Conceding is 100%. That's definite. We're definitely conceding. So, I'm gonna be very optimistic, for this game, and I'm gonna say 2-1. Rasmus to score again, and I'll captain to score as well.
One time, I've been having him in my fantasy. Like, I'm expecting big things. I'm expecting big points from him this game week. I left him.
Okay.
Like, we're not famous for keeping our United players in our fantasy teams because our team doesn't perform. So we know how they are, so we don't pick them. But for some reason, I'm just stuck with our Magnifico. I think we'll beat them 3-1.
Okay.
I don't know why. I'm even going to And I see Rasmus, I see Rashi, I see Bruno scoring.
Yeah.
Or
Okay.
even Casemiro, because Casemiro is in the mood right now. So I don't see him. I see him popping in and doing something. I wanted to ask you, any player in particular that you're expecting him to actually step up and do his thing? Like somebody that you really need him to put in a good performance.
Rashford.
Yeah.
I think this is the game that Rashford wins the hearts back of United fans.
Yeah.
I think his decision making is gonna be way better this evening than in any other previous game before.
He's treading on thin ice.
Yeah, because if he can give Rasmus a hat trick tonight, fam.
Then we're back in business.
A hat trick. Oh man. And that's the winning formula there. You know,
then we're back in business.
Then we're back in business. You know, we need to uplift Rasmus. We need to make Rasmus our. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is what I'm saying. Aguero, and I'm not really comparing. Okay, a good comparison will be like Ruud van Nistelrooy.
I know why you picked Aguero.
Yes,
Aguero is your guy. He was your guy. You love him. So stick with
you know what I mean. You know,
like able to give you an example better when you're expressing how you feel about Aguero. So go.
Exactly. You know how City just always in that final third just looked for boy. Like he is going to score. He is going to. You know, he just used to linger there in the final third. He didn't go back. Like the team is like, we got you. We just need you to score these goals. And you're gonna put them at the back of the net. You know what I mean?
Never disappointed.
Never. You check what I'm saying? So we need Rasmus to be that, fam. You know what I mean? We need the players to be like, you, our guy, to come in through and score the goals. You know what I mean? We're gonna find you. You just do what you need to do. So yeah.
Hey, for me, I am looking forward to Martial, and I know people are gonna be like, wait, what? Yeah, I mean, even if he comes off the bench, I want to see the repeat. That little thing that I saw on Bayern Munich, I want to see it again.
Martial had a pep in his step.
You saw it. Damn. It was like, remember how we knew Pogba was fit?
That bounce. Martial had it against Bayern.
Had it again, bro.
No, Martial.
I want to see that again. Like I am that Martial.
Yeah. They don't know.
Sleep on Martial if you want. But that Martial, if he's coming at you, he's a problem. He's a problem.
And
he's gonna win us penalties.
He's going, and it's us United fans. We know when our players are home because we know that the things that they do, the little things they do, we know that today I'm here to ball. You know what I mean,
bro? That first goal we scored, the one where Casemiro did that thing, and it started off with Martial.
Yes,
the wing. When normally Martial, he gets pushed off the ball and then he sulks. He doesn't chase back. Nah, then he turned and then he did this CR7 chip like this. And I'm like, whoa, Tony, where's this coming from? And then and I'm like,
boy is a problem.
I'm really excited about Martial. Like I really am. I know, like that space in my heart of him getting injured, like it has always been there. Like the moment he gets injured, I'll just take those emotions and then just put them in that bin and close, and then we move on.
100%.
But when he's fit and exciting as he is, it's just difficult to contain because this Martial easily gets into the France team. Easy. Like it makes him go back into the French national team.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So
man.
Yeah, man. So you went with the 2-1, yeah?
Yeah, I went to the 2-1.
I'm gonna go with the 3-1.
All right. No worries.
Yeah. Either the front three all score.
Yeah.
And two players from the front three are going to score.
Yeah.
This is the turnaround, D.
Man. It is. It has to be.
We will stop once we meet one of those top top 8 teams. I know that
Yeah.
rate will slow down. But these mid-table teams, man, we need to be swatting them to the side, man.
Yeah, we need to.
Yeah.
We need 100%. But yeah, man.
I don't know. Is there anything else you wanted to add, my guy?
Nah, man. I think that's it from my end. On your end?
There's it's small, but ish.
Okay.
I don't know if it's cause for concern. At the same time, I don't know how people are going to take it, but it's something that's just bugging my mind.
All right.
Onana's stats, bruh, they're not good. Even in his previous, like I went back and then I even watched the show in the United Stand and Faz.
Yeah.
Indian guy, I think he's Indian or I don't know. But he mentioned some very, very concerning stats about Onana. Like in a Premier, like in a season, for example, the amount of goals he concedes, even though the teams win and they are in the top, they concede a lot.
Yeah.
So you're talking big numbers, double-digit numbers of goals that he's conceded. So for example, in a season where he played like this, I'm not giving the exact because I'm not looking at the stats, but I'm just gonna give you an example of what he was saying. So for example, like a season, he played 33 games, he will concede 28 goals.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Play 35 game season, concede 27 goals. Bro, that is too much.
That's way too much.
Now, when I was thinking about that, I was like, damn, our players really need to now start scoring because it looks like the teams that he was playing in as much as they were conceding, they were fucking scoring goals.
Yeah.
You remember Ajax would see the final score, I don't know, 12-1 or 13 or 7 those days. You remember? Yeah. So they are scoring goals, and we need to score goals in order to compensate for that. Because if we don't, we're going to have another situation like we had last season where our goal difference is just embarrassing. Like it was shocking. We didn't deserve to be in the top 4 with that goal difference. I was embarrassed. I was so ashamed of that thing. We need to improve that. So I just thought I should mention that.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Onana. I do. I like the fact that he took ownership and responsibility. You know, we haven't had that in a long time at United, where a player, because initially we'll just take the blames ourselves and start blaming the players. But when a player comes out and takes ownership, he's almost sort of like shielding other guys, which I appreciate. I really appreciate his character. I really do. I like his character. But this thing of conceding goals, man, I don't think I can get used to it, man.
Yeah, true. And you know what you just said over there, like as much as I commend him for doing it, I also feel like I said, I don't think it was solely his fault that we lost the game.
Yeah.
And what I don't like about that is because I don't want us to get into the same habit in which we got into like during the Ole era of single game when we lost or whatever. It's it was my fault. We're gonna do better. Boom. Next game lose or
fine margins.
Boom. Next game another player is tweeting this was on me. Boom. Next game Askis. Next time Majita. I'm tired of it. You know what I mean? Like fine. Like and like I said, I commend him, but it should not become a habit of every single time these things happen. It's we apologize. We'll do better. You know what I mean? And I've noticed a certain pattern. Like usually this thing happens when we start experiencing like consecutive losses in a row, and then it's like almost trying to calm the fans down. You know what I mean? Oh, let me be the bigger person. Let me shoulder the loss on my shoulders. You know what I mean? So we can be like, well, you know what I mean? And then the next game, boom, and then another person is Askis. You know what I mean? Nah, fam. Like, look, I commend him.
I get what you mean.
It should not be habits,
Yeah.
I'm tired of it. Go and do your job. Go and do your job. You know what I mean? Go do your job. I don't need your apology. Go do your job. Yeah, man.
Yeah. No, man, I feel you, man. Yeah, man. We're going to beat Burnley. If we don't beat Burnley, I don't know. I'm expecting a win. So
the match reaction, everyone should just
the match reaction is
ranting for
bro. I swear, I'm publicly saying here, this is a public service announcement. I am backing the players. I'm expecting a win. But
Yeah,
if they don't, I am
Yeah.
going to tear them new ones
yeah,
on the
man.
back. I'm
Yeah,
going to
bro.
open holes. You'll see.
Yeah.
I am going to. And I will do everything in my power to make sure that our episode gets heard because I want to tear into them. Like I want them to give me a reason to because man, now we need the turnaround. It's about time. It's about time.
Nah, yeah, 100%, 100%. All right, fam. All right. Okay.
Close it for us, my guy.
Yeah, man. Thanks again for listening to another episode of the Glory Reds podcast. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spreaker, YouTube, even Castbox. Man, you can catch us everywhere. Don't forget to check out our new website at gloryrez.co.uk. You can go and find our community page over there. You can follow our WhatsApp group to continue this conversation. We also have links to our social media platforms that you can go like, share, and follow. And don't forget to join our Premier League Fantasy group. Yeah, and with that being said, thank you again for listening to our podcast episode, and we'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.